I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2I TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week. Like T2I TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp +44 759 1152 983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2I TV, we engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Step Out Youth Impact Zone. And tonight is the opportunity for us to always work with young people on the continent of Africa and in the diaspora. The main aim of the Step Out Youth Impact Zone is to give young people the opportunity for them to share knowledge and for them to really share the things that is affecting the youth, in which in most cases the media on the continent doesn't allow them to really have the opportunity to share. And trust me, we started this last year and we have really made a very good impact. We have made a very good impact on this. And I can only say that it can only be better, because the kind of people we have interviewed on the Step Out Youth Impact Zone really gives me the faith that Africa can rise. Because at the end of the day, we've got some young people that, against all odds, are changing the narrative. Now, time is fast spent, but before I go on to my guest, I just want to mention a few of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy. That is your business training and consulting firm. Train to Inspire also work with students in relation to their personal development, and also ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says if you are stranded at the port, call them and they will sort you out. Also ZP Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched their USSD code for mobile money, and that is *270#. Just dial it on your phone and register for ZP Mobile Money. Now, if you want to contact any of our sponsors, their numbers are scrolling on the screen. Take them and contact them. Also, if you want to really advertise or sponsor any of our shows, just take the number for T2I TV UK and we are going to work with you. Also, if you want to support what we are doing, take the same number, talk to us, and tell us how you can be of support. Because we want this platform to really go far and wide on the continent and in the diaspora as an education hub to help the young people and anybody that cares to learn. Because the kind of discussions that we bring a cut across for adults and young people, and even for children who are in dire need of knowledge and also for their personal development. Today, I have got two powerful young people on the show. I've got two young people on the show. One is coming all the way from Kenya, and the other is coming all the way from Ghana. And that is what technology does. Technology gives us the opportunity for us to really engage whilst we are far apart on the continent. And that is what we can capitalize on in this 21st century. Now, who are the people sitting on the hot seat, and what are we going to talk about? My first guest is Peter Enimel, and this is a youth advocate. That is the man in white. He's a youth advocate, and he's a person that is really making a difference in Ghana in terms of, in a small way, driving entrepreneurship and also trying to develop the youth in his own small way. And he is also the CEO of 233 Developers LLC. Also, my second guest, the man in suit, looking very sharp, all the way coming from Kenya. He is the man, he is an author, he is a political analyst, and he is a communications consultant. This man is also changing the narrative in Kenya. A young politician with big brains, that's how I call him. And he is in the person of, I call him Honorable Douglas Bunikirimi. Guys, please welcome to T2I TV UK, and you are live on the Step Out Youth Impact Zone.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you.
Man, it's been a challenge today, but at the end of the day, we are here. That is the most important thing.
Yeah. We thank God we are here, actually. There was a big challenge with this platform today, especially on my iPad. I mean, look at how long we spent. Yeah.
I always say that those that give up are the ones that fail. Those that persist are the ones that win. Now, how has your day been, Honorable Douglas?
Thank you, Mr. Oscar. My day has been busy at TV and other things that I'm doing around, and I'm glad to be here. And I'm also glad to have met Mr. Peter from Ghana, and also other young people that are doing great things across the continent. And Mr. Peter has taken the bull by the horns, so he's doing some great job. And also thank you for having me on the show again, Mr. Oscar. It is always a pleasure. Remember, we are on an international platform now. This is not my local playbook where I keep doing my stuff in Kenya. This is international, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Of course, we are on an international platform, and I think a lot of people will be watching you from across the globe as well. Now, let me go straight to business in terms of our topic. And our topic is the specific role of the youth in the development of Africa. Now, Peter, is there any specific role that you think young people have to play for the development of Africa?
For 65% of Africans being the youth, I think we are the ones that have to. We must. It's not that we even need one. We are 65%. The most able bodies in the whole world, continental-wise, is Africa. We have 65% youth, and everything lies on the feet of the youth in Africa, from economy to education, infrastructure, to the future development, to all these things that we can ever possibly ever think about, to leadership. You know, we say the leaders. We are the future leaders of tomorrow, or we are the leaders of tomorrow. Douglas over here in his honorable state, doing honorable jobs from Kenya, where he's from. You know, all these are the kind of people that we must put in place. You know, so we are here to develop the continent economically. We are here to develop the the continent religiously. We are here to develop the continent infrastructure-wise. All these things depend on the youth. It doesn't depend even on the adults. They'll be dead and gone in the next 10 years, 10, 15 years. But the youth will still be alive, 10 and 40, 10 and 50 then. So we are the ones that are supposed to develop all these things economically and then infrastructure-wise, and then all these projects that we are thinking about.
Wow. Now, the same question to you, Honorable Douglas. Does we the youth, do we have a specific role to play?
Yes, we have a role to play, and like Mr. Peter said, is Africa, the future of Africa in around 2050, the competition will no longer be about gold and all that. The competition will be the scrum of Africa, the next frontier, or be it young, youthful generation, the young people who form around 60 to 70% of the population. And in every African country, the largest or the biggest population is the African youth. And this is a potential whose magnitude has been able to be ignored and also not being taken advantage of. For example, one thing I think that young people can be able to do is separate this African youth potential into three sectors. One place that we can be able to do our impact is on the political scene, then the economical scene, and also the social scene. For example, in political parties, instead of young people being used as hooligans and also goons so that they can harass political opponents, like we have seen across West Africa, Central Africa, Eastern Africa, and even Southern Africa, and in North America, and in North Africa also, sorry, we have seen young people being used for bad things, or especially political mobilization, which is not good. But young people can be able to be used by political parties to enhance capacity for members, register members in political parties, and strengthen these parties. For example, young people can read. If I'm put in charge of a political party as a chairman, secretary, I can perform like an old person can do. The only problem will be now I'll perform it at a higher speed, and also at a speed that is not expected because I have a lot of energy. So young people can also participate in helping spread of free media. We need to have free media that is always permitted by young people. In other ones, that is ready to grow by the young people. For example, on social media, the new age, the new age media. New age media is misused by the young people who are paid very few dollars per day, or maybe per week or per month, so that they can continue besmirching and destroying other leaders and also other young people. And so if young people can also be given free access, and also free access to number one champion for free media, we will not have what we have in Africa today, the gerrymandering that we see in a political scene everywhere in Africa. We cannot have it in Africa. And another thing that we can have, or we can use for our young people in the political scene, is one, enhancing democracy in Africa. Young people can be used to enhance democracy, where the old people have been able to steal for democracy and kill the ambitions of many. Young people can be used to enhance the democracy. For example, if a man runs today like Bobby Wine was running in Uganda, it is the young people, it is the young folks that were supporting him until the old man stole the election. So in this regard, young people can be able to enhance democracy and protect the democracy against an assault from the old guard who don't want to let power go. Another aspect that I think the young people can be able to be used for the development of Africa is on the social scene. Young people can also be used as examples in the society, where they can go and build the capacity for other young people, so that they can depart from the vices that they are doing in the society, and also drug abuse, alcoholism, and all that, so that they can shape the future of Africa and protect the same.
Yes, so I just want to ask you this, be brief with this for me quickly. Do you think young people are given the opportunity? Are there the opportunities for them? Because you made a statement that if young people are given the opportunity, they are going to do the work with speed and get it done. Do you think young people are even given the opportunity in the first place?
No. Young people are never given opportunity anywhere, because the old people keep buttressing this idea of power is not given, opportunities are not given, you must go out and look for them. you feel sorry for Africa when you read speeches from the president or listen from speeches from presidents when they tell young people, get out there and do great things, get out there and stand up for your country. For example, in the morning, I'm very smart now. If I wake up tomorrow in the morning and go to the streets of Nairobi, what am I gonna do? I can go to the streets of Nairobi. I know every street by name. I think every street vendor almost knows my name. If I go to those streets, what am I gonna do? They are stifling the voices of young people in terms of opportunities that are offered, and nobody is giving an opportunity to young people. And those that give opportunities to young people continue controlling those young people. These young people are used as levers to continue moving development forward, as they also steal on behalf and for and behalf of the old guard. The old guard in Africa have not given the young people the voices the voices they need to get, and also they have not given them the space they need to get. Again, these people keep buttressing the idea of opportunities are not given up in Africa. They should be fought for. Who gave the opportunity to Sebastian Kahn, the Prime Minister of Austria? That young man who is the Prime Minister today was given a fair chance and a fair opportunity, an equal opportunity for all. The Prime Minister of New Zealand is a very young, vibrant woman. They were given an equal opportunity and also a fair chance. In Africa, we are not given a fair chance to fight for ourselves. We are not given a fair chance to fight for our space. For example, Mr. Pira is in a real estate. In real estate in Ghana, I can tell you here, he is here. There is no equal opportunity for him. It can only be given to Viraggio in Accra. It's not built by Africans. It's built by Italians, I think. It's given, or the opportunity is given to people that have money. So if you look at it, at the end of the day, Mr. Oscar, to answer your question, there is no opportunity that is given to young people. Young people are given opportunities where they can be controlled. Remember, we have a lot of energy. The bulging energy of African youth is going to turn into it's a dynamo that is going to burst, and it's going to affect a lot of people, especially the older people, because at the end of the day, these are the people that are sitting on the levels of power, and this is the power that we want to take and transform our communities. And another aspect that I think is on the economical scene. For example, I run my 2 businesses and also my other 3 businesses on the internet. Mr. Peter in Ghana runs businesses. Our innovation as young people, our inventions as a young people, as youths of Africa, should be given the fair chance and the equal opportunity chance that we need to be given, because at the end of the day, if a daughter of a president today comes up with a nice design for, let's say, Viraggio in Nairobi, that is in Accra, Ghana, I'm not going to get the approvals that I need to be able to effect my real estate project, rather than the daughter of a president is going to be given that. A bureaucrat in Nairobi is more likely to win a tender in Nairobi City County than myself. But what we are asking is young people in Africa, for them to be included on the table, because every time when the elections, when people are doing government and also sharing positions, young people are on the menu. They are not on the table. We need to be on the table as the people of Africa. Another thing we need.
Okay. So yeah. So I agree with where you are coming from. Now, Peter, he is saying there are no opportunities. Now, are there opportunities? And if there are no opportunities, how can young people force their way to create opportunities for themselves?
I have a very distinct belief when it comes to opportunities and power. I don't think power is given. I think power is taken. And when power is taken, it's taken in a forceful way. And this is something I have personally come to understand. We don't give authority to people. They take authority, and we support them. The interesting aspect of the whole thing is the youth do not know is lack of knowledge, which is ignorance, right? The youth do not know the authority and the power they have. So we gladly allow the people taking it away from us to take it, without even knowing they are taking it from us, because they don't even ask us. They pull it. You see how Douglas was talking about people killing people, murdering people, and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, can you imagine when the youth decide to come together and they say that, hey, we are not going to do this anymore. We want to do this. Nigeria is trying to do something good like that. Of course, like I said, power and opportunity, we don't just get them. It's not like it's a gift on the silver platter. We don't receive them. Anything that came with equal, from equal opportunity from the beginning of time till today, anything that came with equal opportunity came with a fight. There hasn't ever been a single thing that has named. And I like how what Douglas is talking about. Yeah, the opportunities are there. Are the youth able to assess it? No. Are they able to assess it? It takes a lot to be able to assess it. Do they have the willpower to go in and assess it? That's questionable. Those that do are little. There are very few. Those that don't want to do it, or they don't even, not that they don't want to do it, they don't care. The ones that don't care whether they have to do it or there's opportunity or not are a lot. Most of the people that don't care want the opportunity to be handed over to them. The ones that want it don't have the number. They don't have the number to be able to acquire it. That is where the whole squabble is. The squabble isn't even with whether opportunities aren't there or they are there. Opportunities exist everywhere we pass. It exists for everyone to be able to pick. The problem is, would you be able to pick it? You don't have the number. You don't have the money. So how then are the youth supposed to pick the opportunity and the power that they want? If I don't know where is this guy from? The recent young guy that contested for presidency and lost and came to Ghana, Bobby Wine. You see, can you imagine all the youth? Yeah, Uganda. Okay, can you imagine when if all Ugandan youths decided that, you know what, Bobby Wine is young, innit? So we have to go and support Bobby Wine. All the youth deciding to go that frontier, whatever that happened, the youth in the military, the youth everywhere, the youth in power, the youth without power, the youth that vote, the ones that don't vote. Can you imagine what would have happened? That would have caused a big disruption, a heavy disruption that no army in the world can stop.
So does it mean that the youth doesn't know what they want?
They don't want it. They don't even care whether they want it or not. This is the truth. They don't care. It sounds like I want a good thing, but the truth of the matter is I don't care if I have it or not. I'm alive. All I want to do is to live till the next day.
Do you want to say something to that?
Yes, I have a rebuttal. Mr. Peter, I'm a politician. Yeah. I know power is not given. This thing has been buttressed and also put into our minds that power is not given to anyone. But have you looked at people that run for office in the UK? Have you looked at people that run for office in the US? Have you looked for people that run for office in some European countries? They are very different from Africa. I'll tell you here for free. If you are a politician today, I'm a politician in Kenya. I'm highly connected in government. I know people in opposition and people in government. If you go tell them your capacity and everything, present your CV, your political CV, what you have been able to do for communities and all that. I know we have been told that power is never given, but even at the level of opportunities, they will not grant you those opportunities. They will only want to use these people that are their sycophants. At the end of the day, listen to me, over 65 to 70% of, for the African population is the young people. Where are these people when it is time for political mobilization? In Kenya today, we are passing a bill in a county assemblies which are supposed to be state assemblies to some countries, and then it is taken to National Assembly and Senate. Then it is taken to a referendum. It's called the BBI, Building Bridges Initiative. It is being passed around, and the youth folk are the people that are being used to mobilize and do everything. But do they sit on the table? No. My sorry. My answer to what Mr. Peter is saying is, at the end of the day, there is no way we are going to get these young people and also people to come and rally around young people, because at the end of the day, we are very disintegrated from reality. What happens in these political parties as a country, as a continent, we are very disintegrated. For us to be integrated, we need to come together. But do we come together? No. If you want to see if people love you and people rally by you, run for office. They will come and trash you during elections and they are not going to support you. And the young people in these countries and in Africa, they know what they are doing. They look for a person with rice that is going to give them rice, that is going to give them money for salad, and that is going to give them money to take beer and other things. In Africa, if you have no money, they are not going to rally behind you. If I'm a drug dealer today and I have a lot of money, I'll be president tomorrow morning because I have billions of dollars from drug trade. But at the end of the day, these political cartels And also the voter in Africa is a cartel. I will say this on this international platform because my voters are not around. I will say the voter in Africa has become a cartel. For you to get votes in Africa, you have to come and cough out something. At the end of the day, Bobby Wine is singing and they're saying a lot of good stuff, but Ugandans are not going to leave the old man alone. They voted for the old young man. As far as I'm concerned, he sold the election, but also the young man was not voted 100% to be president of Uganda. No. In Africa, the vote has become the political parties have become cartels. You have to call something for you to get a end, Mr. Oscar.
Douglas, can I ask you this, right? So does it mean that the people rather would like to get a stipend and vote for the wrong person instead of voting for the right person?
Thank you, Mr. Oscar. Thank you for that profound question.
Just be brief on this because of our time, yeah?
Thank you. The African voter is not going to vote for the right person to bring transformation in Africa. For example, today, Mr. Peter, if he wants to run for office, maybe president, maybe MP, he has a very good blueprint on how to transform the Republic of Ghana. But the voter in Africa has become a cartel. He's not going to vote for the right person. For example, in Kenya, we are trying to change the constitution by June. We will change the constitution, yes, but we will not bring a new software to the minds of the cartel voter so that when these voters in Africa will get this software, will now realize that Mr. Oscar is a good candidate, Mr. Douglas is a cartel. So in Africa, we don't have a new software that we can install in our voters who have become cartels. In Africa, that's why we have dictators. We don't find dictators in London. We don't find dictators in Washington, D.C. Dictators are here in Africa. They are growing here in Africa. They have grown ones and wings here in Africa because the voter in Africa continues to aid them to stay in power.
I said earlier. Yeah, I said something earlier, right? The truth of the matter is we don't care. It's just the truth. Like you said, we don't care. One of the things the youth don't care about is who is ruling. And there's a reason to that. The reason the youth don't care about who is ruling is because they are new to the political ground. See, Africa is only 70 years into politics. The United States that we are comparing is 300 plus years into politics, as you know it. 300 years, in fact, the females started voting how many years ago? Only 100 years ago or something, less than 100 years ago in America, in the United States. Blacks started voting less than 75 years ago, less than 80 years ago. There's a very big, you said it right, there's a big disintegration. For us to be able to achieve what these Americans have achieved, we have to go through certain things. In fact, the politics as we know it is not even supposed to be for the African man.
Peter, today I want to really disrupt, yeah? Because look, now we compare ourselves to America, right? America is 300 years in democracy, right? But the question is that do we have to pass through 300 years? Now, let me give you an example. Now, Africa didn't use landline, right? We just leapfrog the landline era to mobile phones, right? That to me means that we can leapfrog any stage and really catch up. So the fact that America spent 300 years to get to where they are doesn't mean that we should also spend 300 years. Don't you think our growth is too slow?
Oscar, our growth is very slow, but do you know the problem the problem in the solution you gave right now, regarding to the analogy you gave right now? The problem is no African knows how to make a mobile phone. Mention one. We don't. Mention. Douglas.
What I'm trying to say is that in the UK, in America, almost every household had a landline. In Africa, there was no landline. We just moved straight to mobile phone.
And that's what we've done.
Cut off a season in our dispensation of progress, and we leapfrog to a new dimension that is even better than the landline.
Oscar, that's what we've done.
Is that do we have to stay for long to really get to the stage of America?
No, we haven't. We don't, and we haven't. We skipped it. See, we skipped it straight away to voting. Americans started voting, I think, 108 something or 200 years ago, right? Abraham Lincoln came when? 18 something, right? See, this is what is happening. We skipped all those years. The same way we skipped the landline years. The only problem, we do not understand how telephony works. Today, we still don't understand how elections and politics are supposed to be played. All we know is somebody can give me some money, I pay, you come, you talk to me, a lot of talks, I come, I see, oh, who lies best? Everybody's a corrupt person, then I vote for you. That's how the Africans are thinking. We gotta go back to understanding the fundamentals of making a mobile phone. Else, people are going to be making mobile phones every day for us. And we will never truly understand it. When it spoils, we have to ship it back. When they give us a price, we gotta still pay for the price. We are paying the price of our things we don't understand. We need to understand the political terrain. The youth need to be educated on what power truly is. Power is not with the president. Power is with you that votes. The person that votes. If we can convince them, and I think it will take, again, 186 years, now 182. It will take 182 years to convince the average person that this is how things are supposed to be. People don't understand it, and they don't care. The problem isn't that they don't understand it. The problem is they don't care to understand. So like Douglas is saying, all they want is, come give me some rice. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me some rice, get me some job, get me some tilapia, get me some fish, get me some food, and I'm okay, am I? Or get me some money, and I'll vote for you. But they don't know that they are selling something that they don't even have. They're selling something they don't have. That's what is happening to the African youth. Not that we don't really there's no opportunity or something of the sort. In fact, the people now that have come to the realization of these opportunities and the power and etc., they are suffering because they have seen the light. The others haven't seen the light. Now, there's another big question mark. You need the others to see the light so both of you can cause a change. Because without amassing a large number of people, a large number of following, you can't. You go and they'll vote for the big man with a big belly, corrupt person like Douglas would say, the drug dealers, the cartel people. They'll just vote for them. But we need to understand what politics and the political terrain is. We don't understand it. We know politics, we know voting, we understand it. We think we understand democracy, but we don't really know anything about it.
No, yeah, Douglas. Okay, Douglas. Before I go with my next question,
listen, Mr. Oscar. At the end of the day, we need to also be very clear. In Africa, we don't have to run everything the American did. In Africa, in Kenya, right here, mobile money became an innovation that was a purely Kenyan idea. It came from the Kenyan people. This is a Kenyan innovation. Actually, you can send me money through my mobile wallet from UK to here. This was not an American invention. What we are saying here is, at the end of the day, whatever we are trying to copy from the Western powers and all that, it is not everything that we can copy from them that is good. We saw the riot at Capitol Hill. We saw the insurrection at Capitol Hill. Those are bad manners that we cannot carry and also import to Africa. The thing is, at the end of the day, there are good things we can learn from America, and there are good things we can learn for our own. Remember, when we used to be told about the Mali Empire, the Ashanti Kingdom, and all those ones, everything, the Buganda Kingdom that we studied in history, all those kingdoms, the people were able to lead themselves politically, economically, and socially without Western influence. We can be able to have our own hybrid systems of governance that can be able to be borrowed from other parts of the world and also from our own, so that we can be able to solve our own problems. When I hear Mr. Peter say that we need to understand the political terrain and also understand the politics and all that, not that we don't understand the politics, Mr. Peter. We understand the politics because we used to do ourselves before these people came to steal our raw materials. And this is a problem that is coming in around 2050 again. We are going to have the scramble of Africa for the young people who will carry now the brain drain will be carried away to America, to Canada, and you have seen that. They allow people to go to America, to Canada, so long as you have certain skills that they want. If you say that you can develop mobile apps, you can do political strategies and all that, they will take you to go there and advise their prime minister and their ministers. At the end of the day, what we need is an hybrid system that we can be able to work with as a people in Africa and also embrace ourselves the way we are. Because at the end of the day, in Africa, what we are having today are leaders in power who are puppets of Western powers. I'll cite an example. There's a president in Somalia today that does not care about the people of Somalia. I'm sorry to any Somali recent viewer, but this guy is friends with Western greedy resource allies, instead of people that have been helping Somalia since 1991, especially Kenya. So at the end of the day, The problem really is not about not understanding politics or skipping anything. We can leapfrog, like Mr. Oscar was saying, and go forward. But we need to borrow from Europe, borrow from China, borrow from Singapore, borrow from Kenya, and build our own systems in Africa that we can be able to build on and also become better. Because at the end of the day, we cannot keep borrowing everything. We cannot borrow bad manners of Donald Trump from US to come and import them to Africa. We cannot borrow bad manners from some Western powers, so that we can be able to move forward as a people and also as nations of Africa. Remember, what we are talking about is the next scramble of Africa, which is its youthful generation. In Italy, we were told during coronavirus, they were dying so many because they were having problems with their old age people who had underlying conditions. In Africa, we are having a youthful generation of young people that are innovative and also putting more to the job market, such that we can be shipped out of Africa to go and work as young innovative people, instead of when our forefathers were being shipped from Africa to go and farm in Trinidad and Tobago, to farm in tobacco farms. In Africa today, we are being taken as brain drains. We need to go there and work as doctors, work as professionals, and make their lives easier, and go to Italy and farm grapes, so that technologically, so that we can be able to continue supplying the world with wines from Italy. So as young people, we need to understand that the next scramble of Africa will be our brains, will be ourselves. Our understanding of what the world does and what the world does not do should be importing what we feel is good, is not replacing what we know as Africans. Because as Africans, we have been reading ourselves before these Western powers came. And
yes. All right. Okay. Now, Peter. So, do you think, why is it that the young people are so accustomed to stay on the negative side of things? That is, you see, he made a very powerful statement, Douglas, that the voters are, you said they are what?
Cartels.
They are cartels, right? And I really like that, because look, if you are a young person with all the good ideas and all the brains, and you've got all what it takes to lead people. You see the MP in Ghana at Teshi, the one that who lost, the young doctor, right? This guy was everything to the community, to the extent that he dedicates one day looking after the health of the community free of charge. He did in the community, he still lost.
Those things don't work in Africa. They can work in London where you live and America, not Africa. In Africa, they want money. They are cartels. In Africa, they don't care about, for example, I can create 1,000 jobs for young people within 1 week. I can create 20,000 jobs. I can create jobs for everyone, including old grandmothers. They can work. I can create those jobs. But they don't care about those things in an election. I can't tell them I'm a digital consultant. I can be able to help them leapfrog their problems and also make money and put it into their pockets. I can train young people so that they can be writing content for TI2 television, but I can't do that as a politician. I can only do that as part of my philanthropy. You get my point. In Africa, they don't care about such people. They don't care about my brain. They care about what is in my wallet. In Africa, they don't care about your brain. They care about your wallet, Mr. Oscar. You come from Africa yourself, but you know very well those things can only work in London where you live, not here in Africa. No, not here.
But Peter, what do you think is the case? How can we change that narrative?
Oh, Oscar, I've always said it would take 182 years.
Why? How did you get to that number?
I had to stay.
Talking about my great grandchildren, my friend, bring that number.
Yeah. Oh, I can't bring it down. Because I had to sit down. It took me a while to analyze this and come to that conclusion. I look at the way we think right now. I look at how long we are going to live. The depreciation rate when it comes to the rate at which people change their mind when it comes to infrastructure and development. I look at that. I look at the rate at which people change their mind when it comes to personal development. Now that is what the problem is. Infrastructure development isn't the problem. Personal development is. If We can build everything we want to build in Africa. If there's no personal development in Africa, choose and lost. We've lost 182 years before this. And you know why I put 182? We would be dead and gone. Our children will be dead. Their children will be dead. It is their children's children that will learn it. Those people are the ones, because it will drain little by little. Everyone will do their piece until today we decide that absolutely we are all going to change our mind. If we decide to change our mind, all of us decide to shift our mindset today, then Oscar, it wouldn't take 32 years. It will change everything completely in Africa. Everything. Africa will have zero problems. If there's a paradigm shift in the mind, personal development steps in, then Africa will change within 32 years. Now, the people over there outside, they've seen it, that we are not lazy people. That we only have one problem: we don't care. Africans aren't lazy. Trust me, they're not lazy. Anything they got to do to eat, they will do it. But anything they have to do to leave something for their children's children, that's where the question mark is. We are selfish people. For that reason, we don't care. If it's not in me, if it's not on me, if it's not against me directly, I don't give a crap. That is how we work. Do you get where I'm coming from? So we got to change that mindset that if it's harming somebody else, potentially we are the cause, and that it will harm you some way, somehow. This is how most of the people are outside there doing it. And of course, we have to put in the effort. It's not about, we don't understand it. Truthfully, we don't even know it, that there's something called personal development. Most people don't understand it. If you tell somebody that, you know what, pay me, I'll take you through 6 months of personal development stuff, they are not going to pay you. Why should I pay you? So that you come and help me develop what? Change my mindset. Is my mind for you? That's literally the question somebody's going to ask you. Is my mind yours? What makes you think I cannot do it myself? Of course, we know you can do it. Just do it. And if we decide to do it, if we decide, we must, we are not, but if we decide to do it, then the change will happen. But we don't care. It is just the truth. No one cares much about nothing. It's not as if they don't know that this is worrying them. They know. They complain. A population that complains the most is a population that is practically cares. If you read everywhere in the books that people have written, Bible, the Quran, every religious book has written that. Anybody that complains a lot is cursed.
Is what?
Cursed.
Okay.
Anybody that complains a lot is cursed. Because at the point you speak about everything, and the cause is my father, the cause is my leader, the cause is my grandfather, my auntie was born here, I was born in Africa. What are you saying? You were born in Africa? This is the richest land on the planet. The richest, we are born in Africa. It's supposed to be a blessing, not a curse. But we complain about the sun, we complain about the moon, we complain about everything except ourselves. And when we learn, we don't have to. But if you wish to change your life, then you will change your life. When we learn about personal development, when we learn to move things the way it's supposed to be moved, when we learn to forget about certain things, that comes on us for us to dissect the problem. When we learn to know certain things and apply. Right now, a lot of people go to school, they go and study certain things that is not beneficial to the continent. I don't believe remotely any African should go to school and go and study theater arts. What are you going to use it to do for Africa? It's not going to help Africa in any way. Theater arts is never going to help Africa. It's not going to build infrastructure. It's not going to develop the next person's mind. It's not going to do anything for Africa. We need to go to school, study what is right for Africa, and build Africa with what is right for Africa. Not what is right for US. Not what is right for UK. Not what is right for Canadians. What is right for Africa? Now, what is right for Africa? What does Africa need? Technology, infrastructure, agriculture. 3 things Africa needs. Technology, infrastructure, then agriculture. If we are able to decide that, okay, we are going to shift our mind, and healthcare, of course. If you are able to decide that we'll shift our mindset to these 4 areas, and we are going to do whatever it takes, the rest of the things will fall in place. We don't need everybody to do it, but yeah.
Well, now, Douglas, what do you think is the way forward? What should the youth do for this narrative to change? Because you see, now, first, let me ask you this. Do you think the youth are going to be better than do you think the youth is going to be better than the older generation? Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I believe. And one thing I think
So,
they
so, so, so let me come in this here. Do you think the youth of today are going to be less corrupt, right, than the leaders now that we are saying they are old, they have to leave for us to take over, they have to go for pension for us to take over? Do you think the youth are going to be less corrupt?
the only problem that we are having today is that the young people in our generation are not getting the opportunity to steal, because when they get an opportunity to steal, they'll sell Africa dry in the morning before the sun rises properly. These young people would have sold Africa 100%. Remember, I have heard Mr. Peter talk about something about self-development. For example, if you do some of your seminars in Africa today and tell young people it's $10 or $20, they would rather use that $10 to bet, sports betting, rather than attending a self-development seminar that is going to transform their lives. These are young people. When you give them an opportunity in government, all big scandals in Africa, in Ghana, everywhere, these scandals are led by young people who are sound mind like myself or Peter or anyone else. Why? Because these young people have not had an opportunity to steal. I think for that to happen is that we need to have a radical change. What you are calling a frogging from where we are to something else. Because at the end of the day, these are the same people that will never embrace something that talks about them. If we were speaking about let me drift away from this topic. If you are talking about how to take alcohol better, how to treat your ex-girlfriend, how to treat your girlfriend, how to win your a new girl, people will be filled here. Live comments will be throwing. Or if we were doing a connection, we connect between girls and boys. Yeah, people will be thousands. They won't sleep. But now in Kenya they are asleep, and in Ghana they are also asleep because they have no time for these things that are going to help them and rock their minds as young people. If we were to speak about dating and also connections for young, if you want a girl from Kenya, from Ghana, and all that, girls will be full here and boys will be full here. Why? We have so corrupted our minds as young people such that opportunities will always pass us because we are waiting for a big break. When you talk about corruption, the old generation cannot be corrupted than our own. Our own lacks an opportunity to steal and also lacks a clear mechanism on how to steal. I think with the technology and all that, they are going to be better thieves and also very smart thieves because they are also stealing with the bitcoins today. But we can change that. I'm not refusing we can change, but that is the state of the mind of Africa, the African youth. How many young people you have seen who have signed for your programs to do Mind Revolution? How many people you have seen trying to ask you about writing books and also making money from that? At the end of the day, Mr. Oscar, the young people that we are dealing with today are a tornado. In terms of corruption, tornado. In terms of unemployment rates and crime, tornado. In terms of explosion in growth and also positive change, tornado. It is up to us conversation and try to change. If it is corruption, young people are a tornado. If it is about drug abuse, alcoholism, and all that, tornado. If it's about changing the future of Africa, tornado. We can explode and change the face of Africa and chase away people who keep crippling our government with the debts and all that. For example, today if I tell my president I can create 10,000 jobs, he won't believe me. But it is true. I can create those jobs on the internet and people can make money. I've been making money there and also doing that. But if I tell people to come for a 3-day or a 1-week training, I'm bringing Mr. Oscar Bimpong from UK and also Mr. Peter Enimil from Ghana, they won't come. But if I tell them I'm teaching them on how to win their ex-girlfriends back, get a new girlfriend easily, get a rich boyfriend, they'll feel this platform. Actually, it will collapse. It will come down. Because at the end of the day, they want all these nice things and the fast life and all that. So we are dealing with the tornadoes. It is up to us to define which kind of a tornado. If it is South Africa, is it going to explode with a tornado in corruption? If it is West African countries, tornado in alcoholism. If it is in Kenya, tornado in corruption. So these all tornadoes are here right in front of us. we are a huge threat to the security of African countries and also African oligarchs who have continued crippling our countries with debts. But we are also the hope versus the fear. We are the hope of millions of Africans. We are the hope of tomorrow. We are the hope of today. We can save ourselves. We can take ourselves from inner cities. We can take ourselves from slums and also take ourselves to the next level. Remember, Mr. Oscar, branding, you can brand yourself as a good thief. You can brand yourself as a conman. You can brand yourself as a good property manager and also property developer. You can brand yourself as a digital consultant like myself. It's all in your mind. You can choose whatever you want to become in this life. You can choose to be analyzing politics. So, for example, I have a problem with Ghana having a national cathedral for prayers, where all churches and government can now and contribute. We all have different churches all over. You can pray from your churches and also build industries that can transform the young lives of young people in Ghana. So why would the president and also other churches be reading about a national prayer cathedral? In Africa, for example, in Nairobi, you will find when an industry collapses to their church or go and buy that auditorium to have their own bigger church so that they can continue praying about jobs in Africa. That is the problem of Africa. We need to deal with that. We have big churches in Accra. On Spintex Road, we have a Action Chapel. We have the Mensa Waterville Church. We have so many. Why would we have a national cathedral in Ghana? We should not be having those things. We should be having industries that will transform the lives of young people. And actually, in this time of brick and mortar, we don't need brick and mortar industries. We need digital industries that can transform the lives of Ghana people and also Kenyan people. You can be donating that technology to neighboring countries that are warring in a corruption, war, and also instability, so that young people can be empowered and taken forward. But what we're having in Africa today is that we have people that want to steal from what Mr. Peter was talking about, infrastructure, come up with big projects like John Mahama was doing big projects in Ghana, but you guys sent him home. You do big projects so that they can be stealing from those big projects. When that organization, that youth scandal came up in Mahama in 2013 in his administration, young people still keep quiet today, but they were singing the other day, Mahama, a million jobs. But when in 2013 a scandal about young people came out, they cannot mention about that. For example, I can give so many examples, including in my country, but what we can do now, we need to understand that young people are a tornado. And this tornado, we have seen it in Nigeria, we have seen it in Cameroon, we have seen it in Cameroon, the southern Amazonia people, we have seen it in Uganda, we have seen the tornado in South Sudan and the Greater Sudan, we have seen it in Algeria, we have seen it everywhere. These tornadoes, young people who killed Muammar Gaddafi, it is a tornado that grew and also went out to work with other rebels and also grew their country up. So these tornadoes in Africa, the presidents in Africa, I'm calling out to diplomats, Africans who are presidents or also serving in government, especially in my country, to deal with these tornadoes.
All right.
Because this will reach one of them. Maybe they need to deal with these tornadoes. If they want to deal with the tornado of corruption, feed it. If they want to deal with the tornado of progress, feed it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, I think time is already fast spent. It's 5 minutes at the top of the hour. The conversation is good. Time flies. So, Peter, what is the way forward? What is the way forward? Briefly.
Okay. Yeah. There are 3 ways a country can develop. People can argue with me about this. 3 ways. There are only 3 ways a country can develop. 1, to colonize someone. It doesn't matter whether they are forcing, literally colonizing the person or doing neo-colonialism. France is enjoying off the back of Africa $500 million at least every year from 14 countries. It could do magic in the country. Could do miracle.
So how can, for example, a country like Ghana colonize somebody?
That's what we have to think about. Is our head. The second one, right? We can't colonize people. So if you can't do it, then you leave it. We can't. We are not strong enough. We are not powerful enough, right? So the 3 ways, that's the first one. The second one is manufacturing. Any country that wants to develop needs to go into manufacturing. Nothing is right. Manufacturing, producing things from nothing, making something out of almost nothing, that is the biggest way. That's the second way to go. The third way to go is covering mineral resources and having an intelligent autocratic ruler. Again, not a democratic ruler. A democratic ruler It's not going to work over there. If you have minerals in your country and they are powerful enough to lift the country out of slavery, out of poverty and everything, you need an intelligent autocratic ruler, a kind one, a kind autocratic ruler. Democratic rulers don't work when it comes to this. The maximum they will stay is 10 years. Somebody else is going to come. An autocratic ruler will put their feet down and say, I'm developing this country, whether you like it or you don't like it. I am doing this, an intelligent one. Then sit down, hold tight, wait for this thing to move on. Before they leave, before they die, before whatever that will happen. And we've seen these three things work right. UK is rich not because UK has anything. Nothing. Nothing is rich because of slavery. That's the truth. Sad truth. China and US, they are rich because of slavery, and China is not rich because of slavery. US is rich because of slavery and manufacturing. China is rich because of manufacturing, purely. The third one will be Saudi Arabia, rich because of discovery and autocratic rulers. Single ruler, sitting on the whole fortune. Intelligent one, not just anybody. Intelligent. We are not looking at somebody like this guy in that movie, that autocratic ruler in the movie, but intelligent person. Sitting down like the king of Saudi Arabia, the Dubai king, sitting the ruler, sitting on that fortune, saying, I'm developing this place. How many years has it been? Since 1990? To develop a place to this way? That is serious. The most impressive thing I've seen with my eye. So these are the only three ways. Let's forget about education. Education comes in all these three ways. You know, we'll be able to educate ourselves through this whole means. But until we decide to do one of these three things, and of course, we cannot do slavery. We are not too smart for that. That's the sad truth. Africans aren't smart for to enslave anybody. Secondly, we can go into manufacturing. At least, if you can't do anything at all, we have the mineral resources. If you can't even have autocratic rulers, you can manufacture. We then have to bring the manufacturing ports not to be owned by outsiders, to be owned by insiders. When any foreigner comes to Africa, there are only two things they are coming to do. One, manufacture. Two, sell the things they have manufactured to you. Watch Africa really well. When foreigners come to Africa, there are only two things they come to do. One, manufacture. Two, come bring whatever they've manufactured over there to you. These are the only two ways. Nothing extra, no education, nothing really. They're educating the people in their country. They are asking you to come to their country if you want to get education. Nothing extra comes in there.
Wow.
So this is the way we have to develop our continent.
Wow. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Douglas Bundi, that is what is the way forward. Briefly, our time is fast spent.
The way forward, like Peter was saying, is making sure that these young people are engaged, and also the government in Africa, organizations in Africa. There are thousands of NGOs in Africa entrenched in our societies, and also talking about how they are going to eliminate youth poverty. Recent NGOs, there is no youth poverty that will be eliminated in Africa using brick and mortar kind of jobs. And these thousands of jobs, Mr. Peter can bear me witness, he lives in Africa. All these NGOs, there is none of them that has ever created jobs for young people. The only thing I have ever received from an NGO is a T-shirt and some $5 in when I was in Form 3, when I was in high school. These NGOs are nothing but briefcase companies for people to receive monies from abroad in London and also in the USA. One thing we need to invest is invest in the future. Investing in the future is investing in digital kind of jobs, making sure that young people are empowered with the skills. Maybe in real estate, they can do their own businesses there. Maybe they can now write their own books. Maybe they can do something. There are millions of people out there across the bridge who don't want to work. Africans can be empowered with the skills to work for them from the comfort of their homes. And another thing is that we need to also talk to our young people and also give them opportunities, because in the UK and also in America or other parts of the world, when a young people has demonstrable evidence that they can be able to read and they have better ideas than the old people, they are given opportunities. People vote for them. In Africa, the cartel voter can no longer wait to vote for a young people. they are waiting to vote for the old man who was stolen from government, from a national government affirmative funds, they will steal from a national hospital insurance funds, and also come to Africa and continue asking people to vote for me, vote for a better tomorrow. I want to secure your future. Securing my future, I've started stealing in government for almost 30 years now. You want to secure my future and completely finish it. This is what we need to depart from as Africans. These people who are stifling the future of young people and also stifling the voices of development and also forward looking Kenyans, Ghana people, and also Gambians, and across the bridge, we need to also tell them the truth that the future of Africa it's the young people. They need to invest in young people. Why would they invest in infrastructural projects, roads, and also airports and all that when they cannot invest in the minds of young people? For example, good projects like a Mind Revolution, good projects like self-image. Young people in Africa are the biggest assets that our countries have, but they suddenly continue investing in that. They can no longer continue the same. We can no longer continue investing in brick and mortar issues when we live by the biggest population in Africa, which is the young people. And that is why the young people are the target of the prosperity gospel preachers who are stealing from young people. Come, I'll pray for you, you get jobs and all that manner of things. We need to stop these things in Africa now. Thank you.
Thank you. Trust me, I've really enjoyed this. And this is a powerful discussion. I enjoyed every bit of this. And one of the things that I'm taking home is that when I finish, I'm just going to post it on Facebook straight away, that the voters in Africa are cartels. And I think this is going to create some argument, but I'm going to put your name under it. So when they start,
there's no problem. I'll receive the fire. It is true. I'm a politician, so there is no problem. I know they are cartels. When I ran first for office, I ran at the age of 24. So, Mr. Peter, I know they are cartels. They are cartels in Uganda. They are cartels here in Nairobi. Cartels.
Yeah.
In our
villages. I don't vote.
These people
I don't vote.
They can't vote for you without giving a plate of jollof rice for West Africans. And here in Kenya, if you cannot cough $1, $2, $3, you are ruined. People get keepers of political offices in this country. People cartels everywhere.
Wow. This is quite interesting, and trust me, I enjoyed every bit of this discussion. I'm your host, Oscar Bimpo, on the Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people across the globe, especially in Africa and in diaspora, that are making impact on the continent against all odds. We bring them here for them to share their story, for them to really talk about the stuff that will impact the youth of tomorrow. And trust me, these young people, they give me hope that on the continent, things can change. And because they are change agents already. Before I go, I just want to mention a few of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy, that is a business training and consulting firm. And also, Train to Inspire works with students in terms of their personal development in colleges, universities, and second cycle institutions. Also, ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says if you are stranded at a port, call them and they will sort you out. Also, ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched their USSD code for ZPay mobile money, and that is *270#. Just dial it on your phone and register for ZPay mobile money. Now, if you want to really contact any of them, their contact details are scrolling on the screen. And also, if you want to sponsor any of our shows, you are free to do so. Take the number for T2I TV UK and sponsor any of our shows. Also, if you want to really support what we are doing, take the same number and contact us. We will be glad to speak to you. Now, Peter, your last words to anyone watching us, very briefly.
I think Africans, we must be. The time is now. If we want to change our lives, the time is today. If we don't want to change our life, then we can keep being what we've always been. But however, we need to understand that if you keep doing what you've always done, you keep on being what you've always been. Nothing will change unless you make them change. So if you really want to develop anything, if you really want to develop our country, our continent, our cities, our towns, our villages, then we have to be the same people making the effort towards. We don't have to become cartel voters like Douglas is saying. We have to change our thinking, our mindset. It's imperative we change our mindset. We have to educate ourselves better on things that will be needed. We have to start manufacturing. We have to start industrialization. We have to start a whole lot of things, including agriculture. You have to really take interest in agriculture and the healthcare and many things. Less of and we do have to care. We really have to care. The I don't care attitude needs to stop. Thank you, Oscar.
Wow.
Thank you for bringing that there.
Honorable Douglas Bundi Kirimi, all the way from Kenya. Your last word to everyone that is watching us.
Thank you, Mr. Oscar. Though I called them cartels, they are cartels, and but for us, we can be able to change. We can change from the tag of cartels. We can now help our young people invest in breathtaking technologies. Remember, mobile money was invented by a young Kenyan that was actually later on, I'm told, was sort changed by the mobile money company. But at the end of the day, we need to also invest in our young people. When you hear the young man is working on the internet, please don't call them Yahoo Yahoo like they are called in Nigeria. Young people can also put their energies, their tornadoes, they can put them positively and also transform their communities. For example, many people will not expect me in my village to have written a book, but I've written a book that I sell as far as Ghana, Nigeria, everywhere. I've written several books that I sell from all over. And I'm actually writing a book project with Mr. Oscar. And remember, Mr. Oscar is not my age mate. So I'm a young person trying to make my own difference. So when you get an opportunity to make a difference as a young person, come together as African youths. Now, this also calls for us as Peter and others from the Gambia and others. We come together and also pull together and see what we can be able to do as Africans so that we can be able to lead the way for the Africans, so that when they get lost on the way, they will see that these young people, read by their words, and put their money where their mouth is, because I'm a big advocate of self-reliance among young people and also not over-reliance on these opportunities waiting for you to be voted for by the people. For example, if I gave up and also waited for the next election which comes next year for me to be voted by our people, I would have got lost. I wouldn't have come this far to this international platform. And thank you, Mr. Oscar, for having the bravery, put your resources and also make sure that young people in Africa have a voice they can speak from and also they can advocate their issues. I trust you me, there is no media that can give us a free space so that we can wake up and rant about our voters being cartels in Africa after they have denied us an opportunity to be voted in. But at the end of the day, we need to also be very clear on what we want as young people. For example, if you want to do something like Mr. Peter does, if you want to do, you want to become a developer, go for it. At the end of the day, no politician wakes up thinking about your problems. Nobody in Africa or anywhere in the world wakes up thinking about your problems. And if they think about your problems, you are their problems.
Wow, wow, wow. It's been wonderful having you guys, and trust me, I enjoyed every bit of this discussion. All I want to say is that you guys should continue doing what you are doing, be focused. And I believe that we cannot change the whole youth at a goal, but we have to make sure that any youth that really comes close to us, it is going to be like coronavirus. They will catch the virus of a mindset change that is going to live with them for the rest of their lives. And I believe that if you are able to change one person, you haven't changed one person, because that person obviously will influence his family and probably influence his community. So let us keep working one person at a time, and let us build the Africa we want to see. The Africa we want to see, if we haven't seen it yet, then it means that there's work to be done. And there is always one thing I want to tell young people, that there are opportunities in Africa. If you think there are no opportunities, people think Europe is the next level. Sometimes when I see people that they are coming to Europe, I'm like, why didn't you come 20 years ago? This is too late. Because now the Oyibo people, their eyes are open. They have seen all our tricks. Everything is difficult now. And I always tell people, the moment you enter Heathrow, you just buy depression for yourself, because the level of stress here is on a different level. These days, it's not even easy getting a job. Who is going to help you to get that job? The system is changed. And it is about time we work hard to develop the Africa we want to see, stay in our countries and build it. But it's also about the youth trying to demand accountability. Because if we vote for people that will give us $100 and we have to wait for 4 to 5 years before we can change them and struggle for that long, then it means that we are crazy. You are so crazy to vote for a corrupt person and the person gives you $100 for you to struggle for 4 years. Because that person will never look after you the next 4 years. They will not look after you the next 5 years. So it's about time we make the right decision. And it starts now. That $100 you will take to vote for somebody, it is never going to change your life. It's about you, what you want to see in Africa. It is about time we should have people like Douglas and Peter saying, I'm standing as an MP. I don't have money, but I want people to see what I can bring to the table. They should look at my track record and vote for me. We should stop being cartels, and we should start being what? The proper citizens we are going to be. God richly bless you guys, and I hope to see you guys very soon.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you, and see you guys, and have a blessed week.
Thank you. You have a blessed week.